All right, Sylvia. Beneath the Sea has been a place where, has brought a lot of people together, like-minded people. It's a very serious cause that we have and a challenge that we need to take. And all of us I know, are concerned about it, but we need to join together to protect the blue planet and create an environmental renaissance. I'm up for the challenge. I know everybody that comes to Beneath the Sea wants to protect the very thing that we enjoy. And for the simple pleasure of, hey, we like to dive in beautiful reefs. We like to see fish and sharks. For that simple reason alone, we should protect it. But we should protect it not only for us, but for these young ones, for the next generation. And we can do it. Let me tell you, if we all pull in that direction, we can create a sea change. Her book, too, another great one. But, I'm just a simple artist, but I tell you what, when I'm on the ground bringing it to these kids, I'm seeing that they not only get the message, they want to see action. They don't want to just know, they want to get involved. And thank you, Zig and Joanne. Can you guys give them a hand for bringing all these? My goodness, we know that the home in the backyard really is connected to the ocean, to all the water on the planet. So the grassroots is the greatest way to have an immediate impact and a long-term impact. But here's the nice thing, with the internet and with Beneath the Sea, shows like this and DEMA, and the fact that we're all on the same message, we need to put pressure on the decision makers, absolute pressure. But Sylvia does it in a gentle way, and that's always been my way. It isn't ramming boats or going crazy. Hey, we probably need that too. But I think Sylvia, the way that she communicates, I remember when Charlie Kennel and I were talking, and I asked Scripps to be, our partner in creating an art and science curriculum about water. And Charlie Kennel said, the great scientists are great, but we need people that can communicate it on a level that everybody gets it, including the kids. Nobody does that better than Sylvia Earle, and she's inspired me to do the same. I can talk to kids because I'm kind of like one. We both are. But really, let's put pressure. Let's put transparency. Let's put science. Let's put good information. Let's put it out there so the whole world is watching, so these people can't get away with raping the oceans, shark finning, all the terrible things that are happening in the world. There needs to be so much light on this from every human being that we just push these people like rats right out of the way, and we save the blue planet once and forever. In the next 10 years, this is our opportunity. That wasn't very gentle, but I'm sorry. They got me in a kind of a... All right, so Sylvia?
Well, it helps to think like a fish, think like an ocean, and realize what it takes to make a fish, or a clam, or a crab, or a lobster, or whatever, and then make choices accordingly. If you're going to grow something, there's certain characteristics that work. It took 10,000 years or so for us to winnow through the many creatures that share the planet with us. Which ones can we effectively grow? Right now, 3 grains, rice, corn, and wheat, provide more than half of the calories for people on the planet. And about 100 other plants fill in much of the rest, including potatoes, for heaven's sakes, and, the other things that we all like to munch on in salads and beans and whatever. But the protein that we grow, all fast-growing herbivores, cows, chickens, pigs, low on the food chain. Sunlight, plants, protein, very short and very fast. We go to the ocean, we start at the top of the food chain. Tuna, swordfish, sharks, grouper, snapper, cod. And the investment, and they're not young, oh, by the way. I mean, a cow is maybe a year old when it goes to market. Chickens maybe 7 months. And when you think about what it takes to make a tuna fish, first of all, it takes about 6 years for a bluefin, for example, to mature. They may live to be 30 years old, grow to more than 1,000 pounds. But when you take them out of the ocean, you're taking a big bite. You're taking a lot of carbon, too. We're worried about clear-cutting forests, but we've been clear-cutting the ocean of carbon-based units, extracting 100 million tons a year, and destroying the capacity of the ocean to grab carbon, to generate oxygen, to otherwise be that more valuable function that the ocean provides, and that's life support. We're alive because there's a living ocean that does the heavy lifting about generating oxygen. Like 70% of the oxygen comes from the ocean. 1 in every 5 breaths comes from a single little blue-green bacterium called Prochlorococcus, whose existence we only discovered 25 years ago. Penny Chisholm at MIT discovered. Anyway, so fish are probably more important alive than dead in the ocean, and the idea of growing what we want to eat, a good source of protein, does make a kind of sense. And with 6 billion mouths to feed, in China, for more than 1,000 years, carp have been raised in ponds, closed systems, but multi-species. You've got 4 or 5 different kinds of carp, ducks on the surface doing what ducks do, enriching the water. That causes little green guys to grow that the fish eat. All around the ponds, often there are mulberry trees that are soaking up some of the nitrates and phosphates and making leaves that silkworms chew on. So it's kind of a nice multi-practical purpose thing. And not a big footprint. More crop per drop, as they say in aquaculture circles. But in the ocean, you know, it takes an ocean to make a tuna. It's a lot of water. And a lot of years and a lot of food, because to make a pound of cow, about 20 pounds of plants. To make a pound of chicken, about 2 pounds of plants if you take them when they're, you know, a year old. To make a pound of catfish or carp or tilapia, it's about 2 pounds of plants. To make a pound of tuna, you've got to start thinking about thousands, tens of thousands, 100,000 pounds of plants for every pound of tuna that's 6 or 7 or 10 years old. I mean, think of how many pounds of whatever has gone into making you. Oh, or any of you, even a 10-year-old kid. There's a lot of groceries that have been consumed to make every pound. And when you think about eating wild, old, carnivorous fish, a lot of sunlight through plants, through the ecosystem has been invested. So you take a big bite out of the ocean with every bite of carnivore. And we don't raise carnivores to eat on the land. So, answer your question. Think low on the food chain. And think closed systems. I'm worried about the salmon farms, worried about the new edge or push to have farms in the open sea. Maybe we can get away with a little bit of it, but not a lot of it. We need to think of low on the food chain, look through the whole suite of creatures that are out there that taste good. You know what? Some things don't even have to taste good. You just put enough lemon and garlic and salt. It doesn't matter what it tastes like to start with. You can get the grand chefs of the world to be creative. There's just one more comment I want to make on this, and then I'd love to hear from somebody else. I don't know how much time we've got, but I just want to share that I heard Jane Goodall speak a short time ago. It was in Mexico, another conference. And she talked about how much we have in common with chimpanzees. The DNA is just so very close, but she said they don't come to meetings like this, for example. They are really smart, and they have so much going for them, but they don't reflect on the past. They can't dive into the ocean. They can't go to the moon and look back on Earth. So far, only humans have this power to really understand the way the world works. And only humans have the power to do something about it. Chimpanzees live a fairly good long life. I mean, bowhead whales may be 200 years old. They have certainly seen change. The dolphins that live in Sarasota Bay have seen enormous change in the 30 or 40 or 50-year lifetime of some of the older ones. An orange roughy in its 200-year-old life may have seen, or the big lobsters right off here from this coast, even the oysters that once could live to be 50 years before we started taking them in such volume. They may realize, I don't know that the oysters would realize, but the dolphins might, the whales might, that there have been changes in their lifetime. But they don't know why. And they don't know what to do about it. We know why. And we do know what to do about it. So that's the point. We've got a chance. Let's go.